Hello there, how is it going? Welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to discuss with you how you can do the chroot and why you should do it. Chroot has multiple things, or it's about multiple things. The first thing is accessing your system using live media to perform some of the operations, especially if the system is inaccessible. Using the normal way, you boot it and it doesn't run. This thing is mostly for Unix based systems, but for Windows you can simply use I don't know how to do chroot for it, I never tried. Maybe I will check and make it in another video. So this is for Unix based systems like BSD or Linux, and in my case it's gonna be Linux. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how you do chroot, because let's say one day you have a system that's running Linux and your system is broken for a specific reason and you cannot access it anymore. In this video will help you to chroot to it. Chroot stands for change root, and you need to run some specific commands to be able to access your system and perform the needed actions depending on your case. It can be, for example, installing a bootloader, it can be installing a kernel, it can be reformatting your root file system and installing the system again without formatting your home partition. It can be any of that. And chroot is done in many Linux distributions, whether you see it or not. Like when you want to install Arch, you run a command which is arch-chroot, which will run the commands that I'm going to show you now. So this thing, you can find it in Gentoo wiki, you can find it also in Linux from scratch details or book. However, I'm going to run it here, and it doesn't depend on any specific distribution. You can simply run it and it's supposed to work for you. So what I'm gonna do here, you're supposed to do it using a bootable flash drive that contains, for example, Linux Mint. I'm gonna choose this one, and I'm gonna put it in the optical disk drive. You yourself, you can have an optical CD or disk, or you can use a bootable USB flash drive, and you can plug it to your computer and follow this. So this is very similar to putting or plugging your USB flash drive or CD to your computer drive. So you select it, you put it. It should be, let's say, it's supposed to be a Linux with a graphical user interface, or you can use one without a graphical user interface like Arch Live CD or CentOS or Fedora or whatever. But you need to know how you can jump to the console, because you don't need the graphical user interface. All you need is a console or a terminal emulator. So you choose it. That's force and mount. For you don't need this. And then you check if it's mounted there. Yep, it's like that. And then the next thing is you boot your computer to the live system, which should be done like this. For me, because my system is functional, you don't need to follow me with this step. So you reboot to it, you press F12, and then you choose. This is a virtual machine, but you are supposed to run it on your computer. So I choose CD-ROM, and then start the live CD, whether it's Ubuntu, CentOS, Fedora, whatever it is, Arch Linux or anything. We wait for it to boot. It's a plain Linux Mint disk. Right, let's make it full screen. And then you open, make sure you choose try and you don't choose install, you choose try. And because you're not gonna install this system, you are going simply to chroot to your installed system and perform the actions needed to rescue your system. I'm not gonna talk about any specific action because it depends on your problem. I'm just gonna talk about how you can do the chroot process. You open your terminal and you need to find which partition your system is installed on. lsblk. For me, it's installed on /dev/sda3. For you, it can be anything. First of all, you need to become root by typing this command, and then you mount. You make a directory. You call it whatever you like. mnt. On the mnt is for mount. You can call it test, like in my case, or you can call it anything. And then you mount your root file system partition on it. Dev, in my case SDA. For you, you need to find out which partition is your root file system partition. mnt test. It's mounted there. And then you need to run the commands that I'm gonna tell you right now. They are mentioned here. Okay? For the wiki of Gentoo, it says that it is /mnt/Gentoo. You should choose whichever directory you call it, or you choose the name here. In my case, it's test. So here it's going to become, instead of Gentoo, test. So we run all these commands. Mount types proc/mnt test, not Gentoo because I called it or named my folder or path test, and then proc. Next one for sys, and then change it like this. Make sure the comments are just like the I will write them for you in the description. Alright, then we take like this, the same, change it. We have run 3 of them. Now again our bind for dev. Make our slave dev. Make sure that the path is exactly the same as the folder's name. Then bind for run. Sorry, not bin, but bind. And then make our slave for run. So these are the commands. I made a mistake in this one. Don't write it the same way. Let's check if they are all correct or not. Remember, this is distribution independent, so it doesn't depend on any type of distribution. As long as you have installed Linux, whichever distribution, you can run these commands to chroot to your system and then run all the needed actions to restore and rescue your system. So I guess all my commands are correct, if I'm not mistaken. And then we chroot. So we run chroot command mnt and then test. I have chosen the name test. It can be Gentoo, and it doesn't necessarily mean that your installed system is Gentoo. You can name it the way you like. Okay, dash bash source etc profile. Clear. Now I can show you that I am on my installed system, which was Arch. It's Arch. you can perform anything here, especially the operations for rescuing your system or restoring your system. Let's say you forgot to, or you deleted your bootloader, you can install it again by typing pacman-s grab. Okay, -pic s of course. If you, for example, removed your kernel, you can install it again, because the system will not work without the kernel. Okay, if you want also to mount the boot partition, you can mount it. So it should be mount. In my case, it's dev sda1, then boot. So our boot partition is mounted in case you need to do something on it. In my case, it's dev/dev/sda. Okay, so this is the process of chrooting, in case you need to do it, and you must think of doing it before reinstalling the system and wasting your time performing the full installation process. This method helps you rescue or restore your broken system, or even changing your password. You can do password passwd. If you forget your password, you can run this command and then the username tag, and you can put your new password here. Although there are other ways to restore your password, this is the way. I wasn't able to run Ctrl+C, so you update your password in case you forgot it. So this is one of the simplest things that may happen and prevent you from running your system normally. However, it depends on your problem. This is not necessarily for, let's say, a broken bootloader or a broken kernel or anything. It can be done even if you have like other problems further than loading the kernel and loading the bootloader. Okay, remember to run these commands and choose the correct name for your system or for your mount point or mount folder. Okay, and then you chroot running these commands, and this one you change it to your chosen name for your path. I guess that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in another one.